Gunners supporters, blows his whistle. George Moncur steps up and scores! Bottom corner of the net. The goalkeeper was very close, and it's John. He lets in a low cross, and a Smith turn in, and Leyton Orient are back on level terms. Here comes to James, he shoots. Oh, and a goal from Tom James. That was a volley, and that was right. It's a low cross, it's an inviting cross, and it's been turned in by Theo Archibald, and he celebrates in front of the travelling faithful.
Good afternoon and welcome to Orient Live here at the Brisbane Road. The O's are hoping to pick up another 3 points as they face Crawley Town, who sit just above the League 2 drop zone. And I'm delighted to be joined by Glenn Wilkie and Joe Widdowson this afternoon. Between the two of them, we've got a good set of fullbacks there, and it's a good opportunity, boys, to pick up another 3 points today against a team sitting low in the table.
Yeah, looking at it from the outside, I think the form guide and the bookmakers, have got us as big favourites. Looking at their league position and where we are on paper, it looks like an easy win, but it's not played on paper, Joe, is it?
No, it's not. These are the sort of games where they can look like they'll be routine victories, but Crawley are a team they got players with quality. They're coming to the team that's top of the league, and no doubt they'll be up for it. It's a fairly local trip for them. They'll be looking to put in a good performance and trying to kind of spoil the day for us.
Enough about Crawley though, because obviously Tuesday night here at Rochdale, it proved to be a slightly tough game in the second half, but we've been in good form of late, and Richie, we're hoping that continues today.
Yeah, we have. We started February in really good form. Put sort of like January's disappointments and stuff behind us, and managed to kind of build a good momentum. Finding different ways to win games. The performance away to Crewe was like really efficient, and then on Tuesday night against Rochdale, ground out the game, played really well in the first half, and then just saw ourselves over the line and did enough in the second half to get the win.
Well, it is unchanged from that Tuesday night fixture in that 2-1 win over Rochdale, but let's remind ourselves of how the O's are lining up anyway. In goal for the O's, as always, hoping to pick up another clean sheet as he hurtles towards the clean sheet record is number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux. We have an unchanged back four of Tom James in number 2, number 19, Omar Beckles, number 43, Ed Turns, and number 24, Jaden Sweeney. We've got the two midfield generals in number 15, Idris El Mazouni, and number 8, Craig Clay. We've got the attacking three behind the striker in number 11, Theo Archibald, number 34, Kieran Sadlier, and goal scorer from Tuesday night as well, number 10, Ruel Tiriou, who will be hoping to get back on the score sheet this afternoon, and leading the line, he'll also be hoping for a goal or two, is number 16, Aaron Drynan. And a very, very strong bench for the O's this afternoon as Paul Smith and Dan Prattley both return, and they're on the bench alongside Reece Byrne, Shadrach Oji, Adam Thompson, George Moncur, and Charlie Kelman. So there is how the O's are lining up against Crawley Town this afternoon, and unchanged is no surprise really. Richie said there was a bit of illness in the camp on Tuesday night. The second half was a bit of a slog, but hopefully that's been blown out the system, and it'll be all firing this afternoon.
Yeah, we're a few days on now from obviously Tuesday. Hopefully players who were struggling have recovered a bit more and their strength's back up. Don't know what the physical sort of depth they've got, but hopefully they're starting today, them players, and they look good. I just think when you're winning games and you're top of the league and you're going for promotion, if you've got a little injury or a niggle, or even if you're feeling a bit under weather, you ain't going to tell anyone, are you? You want to play.
Yeah.
Good players want to play all the time, and it's that momentum of winning games. You don't want to lose your place in the team as well if you're feeling a little bit under weather, because someone comes in and grabs that place. You're out of it when you are fully fit. So looking at them, they all look fine warming up, but I don't think, even if they were not fine, they'll be telling the manager.
We conceded our first goal in nearly 1,000 minutes of Football League action here on Tuesday night, which is a fantastic record, but Lawrence and that back line will be hoping to go out and get their 20th clean sheet, and barely even into February. That's mental.
Yeah, it's an incredible stat. The fact that they've conceded such few goals here at home is, it's credit to the coaching staff, to obviously the back four, whoever's played there. Obviously Lawrence has been ever present in goal. It's just an amazing statistic, really. I think the fact that there has been, for the most part, fairly little change amongst the back four. Recent weeks, obviously, we've had suspensions and injuries and stuff, but to be fair to the guys that have come in, the likes of Jaden Sweeney, Ed Turns, they've come in and done fantastic and managed to, to build on that solid base we've got there.
Let's talk about Ed Turns and Omar Beckles then, because that centre-back pairing is really blossoming.
Yeah, it is. I think you got a lovely balance there of Omar with his experience, his personality, and then you've got Ed Turns, who's obviously a young player, sort of making his way in the game, still very inexperienced, but obviously clearly very talented, and a nice eye for goal as well. And he's popped up with some really important goals. So between the two of them there, I feel like they're really blossoming, and thankfully at the moment we're not missing Dan Happy too much.
And from the stands, it hurt conceding a goal, and it felt nervous, and it felt weird. The players will be probably just as hurt by conceding the goal, and I guess that tells you the levels of where we are this season.
Yeah, definitely. They've set the standard this season, and Lawrence in goal. All them clean sheets he's kept, and the defence as well. It gets ingrained in you when you're getting records and accolades for not conceding goals, and you get that as a defender. You've got your own little unit. You do not want to concede, so that goal would have hurt them on Tuesday night. Luckily, we go on and win the game and hold on. But today they want to get back, and I saw a quote from Ken Teague in the week. He was on one of the web pages, I think, for Orient, and he's done a few stats on the team who concedes the least goals in a season normally get promoted in the first spot. So doesn't necessarily mean you score the most goals. Everyone should go and watch that. But no, it's an interesting stat. But defenders, you don't want to concede.
Well, it was Dean Brill's favourite saying, I think, clean sheets, no defeats. And it's true. If you don't concede any goals, you're never going to lose a game. And it's what championships and titles are built off, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. And like Glenn said, as defenders, you're right. It is your little unit, isn't it? With your back four and your goalkeeper, and you pride yourselves on doing your jobs well and being that solid base for the team, for the attacking players in the team to go and express themselves, go and do the fancy stuff, score the goals, assists, and all that stuff. But we just want to take care of our job. Do you know what I mean? And you're right. Like it would have hurt them conceding on Tuesday night, no doubt about it. Probably more shock than hurt, if anything, because they're so not used to letting in goals at home. But I'm sure they'll have the bit between their teeth today and really want to be solid and tight at the back and not let it happen again.
I think the thing with the goal on Tuesday night, looking back at it, it was preventable, and that's what would probably annoy him the most. You can understand if you concede a goal from 35 yards and it's banged in the top corner, you go right, okay, it's a wonder strike, but the guys hit a good strike, but we could see in the build-up to it, the runner running off, peeling off, it was preventable, and that's probably the most frustrating thing. But like you said earlier, players were struggling with illness. They're feeling very lethargic. It was late on in the game, so it could have been down to that, but it was very, very frustrating.
It certainly was. And if you look at the midfield two in front of him, today again it's Craig Clay and Idris El Mazouni. Let's talk about Idris first. He got the goal on Tuesday night as well. He's just, they say not to fall in love with lone players, but the way he's playing, it's hard not to.
It is hard not to. He's been a real gem, I think. I don't know if even the coaching staff would have anticipated him doing as well and being as consistent as he has done this season. Again, for him, similar to Ed Turns, it's another they're at that stage of their career where they're still learning. They're still developing, very inexperienced, but he's a top player and he'll go on to have a really good career at a high level. And I think for Orient this season, it's been a privilege to have him and be part of his growth as a player. And he's been fantastic for us. He really has his all-round game. I think he's improved so much, and he's added a real kind of bite and also quality in that midfield.
What I like about him is he's been fantastic for me. And this is going to be a little bit controversial. He's been our player of the season so far for me. He's been so consistent. But what's helped him massively, like Joe says, we wouldn't expect him to churn in them performance season, but he's had Darren Pratley next to him, he's had Craig Clay next to him. That experienced players who've played a lot of league football, and they know when games are tough how to grind out a result, and sometimes you've got to grind out results. He's had good people, good experience either side of him to help him through, and he's kicked on so well.
I mean, he said in his interview in the week as well that he was asked whether he prefers the 4, the 8 or the 10, and he said the 8. He could play as a, what is it when you do the quick maths, at a 22. He can do it all. He's everywhere on the pitch.
He is. He probably likes to play as an 8 because he likes to shoot and get forward. I think we all would, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Rather than standing at the back and tackling people, but some people like that as well. He's wherever he's played, whether he's played in a more advanced position or he's played in that defensive position, he loves it. He loves it. He loves tackling. He loves getting on the ball. He likes short passes. He likes sort of breaking the lines, like driving through, dribbling with the ball. He just really, really, like you say, we didn't expect it from him. No. We didn't expect it from him. We didn't know what sort of player he was when we came in. Is he got a hold? But as the season's gone on, he's just grown in confidence. He can play anywhere in our midfield.
Do you know one thing I really like about him is, like you said, that is he a 4, is he a 6, is he a 10? Nowadays, often midfielders define themselves as one or the other. For me, he's just a midfielder. He's a centre midfielder. He can sit, do you know what I mean? He can tackle, he'll track his runners, he can break up play, but he's got the energy and the legs to want to join in. He sees a forward pass. He can do that. He's a bit of a sort of like a Frank Lampard. You know, he can do those different roles. He's not just one or the other, which is what I really like about him.
And as a manager, you love that, don't you? Because if you've got to change tactics during the game or before, depending on who you play, you can count on that player because you say, this is a system we're changing to. He fits in there. He can do that job. He can do that. Whereas some of the others possibly can't.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting with him playing with Craig Clay recently as well, because with Craig in there doing the battling and the tackling and the gritty work that we know Craig does, that has allowed Idris to get further up the field. But I think Craig Clay needs some credit in the role he's played.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think Craig's one of them. I spoke about him quite a few times this season. He's such a, you know, having played with him for 4 years, he's such a dependable character. You know that, you know, when Craig steps on the football pitch, he's going to be at it, and the minimum he gives is, you know, complete commitment and work rate. And you know, he's got quality as well. You know, I think often that gets overlooked. You know, I think, you know, obviously we've seen Idris's skill set a lot this season, his passing, his goals, but Craig can play as well, and obviously he does bring that combative, that spirit, that leadership. Similar, you know, we talk about balance with Omar and Ed Turns, and I think it's a similar partnership in midfield. You know, whether it's Craig or whether it's Darren Patley alongside Idris, you know, it's a nice balance of youth and then that experience and helping to guide each other along.
And it's been Craig in recent games, and let's just take a look at what he has brought, because he didn't play for much in the first half of the season, but when he's had his chance recently, if you see now, he's given it his all.
Yeah, and like Joe said, he comes into the team and he's known for his sort of tough tackling, very tenacious, getting round, upsetting play, breaking play down. As we see on here, there's times when, over the last few weeks, when he has been playing against Crewe away, against Tranmere, people like that, when you're holding on and you're trying to get a result and it's not going your way offensively, you need to really dig in. And you can see him, he goes and breaks play up, he anticipates play as well. He anticipates the other team sort of breaking quickly, and he just jumps in front of someone and nicks the ball, gets it out of play, just buys us a bit of time. Just a really, really good, experienced player, very tenacious. I love that, tackling in the opposition box, but he can play football as well.
And when you've got him in your starting 11, as we just said, it allows you like your Idris, and we'll come on to them shortly, but sadly as Atiri's, Theo's, does that allow them a bit more freedom when you've got someone like Craig in the midfield doing what we see here, just absolutely throwing his body on the line?
Yeah, definitely. You know, when you've got, like we said, we spoke about the defence, how solid they are, but when you've got a midfield too that, you know, the minimum you're going to get is they're going to compete, they're going to win their tackles, they're going to win second balls. It gives the front three, the front three and the centre forward the licence to be a bit more expressive, to know that, you know, they don't have to maybe work as hard tracking back or do as much defensively for the team, because, you know, you've got midfielders in there that are such good ball winners, they compete so well that, you know, their job is to just literally win it and free our attacking players and let them get on with their stuff. So as an attacking player, that's you know, not that I ever was one, but, you know, it's good to know that you've got that solidity behind you to go and express yourself.
You were the solidity behind.
Yeah, try to be.
Let's talk about those attacking players then. Ruel Stiri got on the score sheet, which was a great thing to see on Tuesday night. Kieran Sadley is really starting to make his mark on this team, and we know what Theo Archibald's capable of. When you've got those, Paul Smith returned to the bench as well, don't even really know where to begin, because we've just got so much quality going forward.
We have, and we've been spoiled for choice all throughout the season. The front three at the early doors of the season, before injuries and suspensions and stuff, they've done really well. Now we've got sort of Ruel coming off the bench. We saw him back in the last season. He scored 8 in 9 games or 9 in 10. You know the quality he's got, and Richie Wellens, the last few interviews I've seen with him, he's mentioned how well he's been training. He said like it's been like the Tasmanian devil, you know, in training, and his finishing is superb. So he's rightly got his chance. So pleased for him that he's got a couple of goals in the last few weeks, because his confidence, he's a confidence player, isn't he? Once his confidence is up, Joe's played with him, trained with him. I've not seen him train, but I can imagine he's got that sort of street footballer in him, you know, and he likes to have a fight, and he likes that sort of scrap as well. But when he's scoring goals, he just looks like he's going to score every single game.
Yeah, he does. You know, like you said, that's the perfect description for him. I'd say he's a street footballer. You know, he likes a bit of rough and tumble. We used to call him Suarez, because he had this knack of like just dribbling and like bouncing off people's shins and then back into his path. But yeah, you know, he likes that physical side of it. He presses so well. Spoke about earlier this season, like the pressing now in his game and the energy that he shows. You know, when he does play, I think his fitness levels have gone up a notch. You know, he's been chomping at the bit, and you know, for Richie, it's a great thing when you've got your attacking players all, you know, raring, you know what I mean, to get minutes and get on the pitch and score goals. You know, like you said, we've got Paul Smith back today, massive boost, and the bench is looking really strong, and it's good competition for places.
And with Aaron Dryling keeping his base up top as well, he had a really impressive first half. That goal's coming, it feels, but it's more the build-up play. He was linking things really well. He was on that Rochdale defence, and hopefully again today, his physicality, his pace, he can ask some questions of the Crawley Town.
Yeah,
defence.
definitely. He works his socks off, and I think that's the minimum requirement in any team. Your attitude in a game got to be everyone. Attitude and effort. 80% of your game is that. He works his socks off. He defends from the front. He chases people down. He chases lost causes and puts people under pressure. Yes, he wants to score goals. He's a centre forward. He wants to score goals. If he gets his chance, it's raining now. Pitch is a bit slippery. I can see him scoring today. I was having a chat with one of the supporters earlier, and he actually told me he was going to score a hat-trick today. So let's hope he's right.
That would certainly be nice. Well, the heavens are starting to open here in E10. And of course, don't forget, if you're watching along on our YouTube today, it is available to stream for international fans. Head over to the Orient website to pick up your streaming pass. But now me and Joe are going to go dry our hair quickly. Don't worry about Glenn. But let's hear the pre-match thoughts of Richie Wellens.
Leyton Town on Saturday. We've had a bit of change, obviously, in terms of managers throughout the season, but by and large, you know, most of the squad will still be there. But what are we expecting in terms of a game?
I think they're a good footballing team. At the start of the season, there was a good footballing team, but really naive, played too many passes in front of you. Even if broke a line, you know, and they've got you in trouble, they would then come back out and allow you to get back into shape. So I think they play a little bit quicker. They've got speed up front in Telford and Naderson. They've got players at the back that can play out. I think they're a really, really good football team. Stockport hurt them a lot on transition on Tuesday. It was a game that after half an hour, I looked and probably Crawley should have been a couple of goals up. It was 1-1. And a couple of mistakes for the goals allowed Stockport to take the 3 points. But good players for the level, proven players at our level. So it'll be a difficult test.
Results tended to go Orient's way on Tuesday night. At this stage of the season, how much attention are you paying to the top three?
I think you always pay attention after the event. You know, before the game or during the game or immediately after, you're not really that bothered. You concentrate on your own performance and your own result. But then obviously, you know, you want to check on how other teams are doing, and then I always go through everybody's team sheet, see if there's any injuries, see what systems are playing, see if there's any changes to systems or personnel, just so you're always keeping up to date. You know, you look at Crawley, they've played a back four, they played a back 5/3 against Stockport. Then had a couple of injuries to two midfield players, and then Dion Conroy, who's playing centre back, goes and plays in midfield. So you're a little bit second guessing what they're going to do. We're going to change a few things just because of the personnel we've got available. But yeah, I think you're always taking note, but again, you have to concentrate on your own performance. If everybody in the building concentrates on their own performance, then we'll get good performances, good results as a whole.
Top stuff there, and don't forget, if you purchase your match pass watch with us here on Orient Live, we'll be bringing you Richie's post-match interview before anyone else does, so make sure you pick up your pass and join us for the 90 minutes and the post-match analysis as well. But now let's take a look at how the visiting side are lining up this afternoon. Now sitting just a place above the drop zone is Scott Lindsay's Crawley Town, and in goal for them it's a change. It's number 13, Ryan Schofield. We have number 2, Kellen Gordon. Number 3, Dion Conroy. Number 6, Joel Lynch. 8, Jack Powell. Number 15, Ludwig Francelet. Number 19, and the captain, is last season's top scorer for the league, is Dom Telford, and he wears the armband as well. We have number 24, Aramide Ote. Number 27, Rafiq Khalil. 38, Tom Fellows, and 44, Mazid Ogombo. And on the bench for Crawley Town is Corey Adai, James Tilley, Ashley Nadizen, Brendan Mason, Harry Ransom, Jaden Davies, and Jack Spong. So we've said about how maybe they're a club in a slightly precarious situation. They spent a lot of money in the summer. They're probably not where they expected to be.
Yeah, they wasted a lot of money in the summer. Their league position is not great. Seems a bit of a club in turmoil. I think they're on their 5th manager this season now. Looking at their previous games, some of the goals they conceded are comical, but they have got some good players in their side, you know. So they can upset teams. But what I've noticed with them, and we'll come on to some of the goals of previous games shortly, once they go a goal down, they really turn on each other. You know, there's a lot of finger pointing. There's no real discipline. You know, no togetherness. It just, once they concede, the heads go down, and that falls into opposition team's favour. You know, and if we can get an early goal today, I think if their heads go down, we could go on and score a hatful. But yeah, they're not in a great position, but they can be dangerous.
They've only won one of their last 5, but as Glenn says, there's quality in there. They've signed players from the league above. They've signed last season's top goal scorer. They've still got danger, and I suppose slightly new manager. He hasn't been here for ages. If things click, they might pose a threat.
Yeah, you know, they have got quality, and I think the likes of Telford up front is obviously the main threat. Scored a lot of goals in the league last season, and yeah, they have got decent players in, you know, certainly in wide areas and attacking areas. But you know, again, like Glenn said, you know, they really are a club in turmoil. There's been, you know, managers coming and going. The personnel playing have changed a lot over the course of the season, so they don't seem to have really found any sort of rhythm throughout the whole season. But however, you know, like I said, you know, coming to the team top of the league, they'll have a good fan following today. They'll want to cause an upset, and you know, as Richie often says in this league, if you're not right, if you don't do the basics, defend well, you know, you concentrated at all times, then you can be punished. So you know, we'll have to make sure that we're really aware today. And
it was only a narrow defeat for them on the road against Stockport, and that's a tough place to go. So it's not like they're just going to roll over and concede a hatful.
No, of course not. You know, they'll be wanting to come here and really kind of put on a performance. You know, as you said, the new manager recently, so they might still have that sort of, you know, new manager bounce to them and wanting to, you know, impress him and you know, kind of cement their own place in the team individually. So I'm sure they'll be up for it and motivated today.
And let's take a look at the goals they have conceded then, because when you've got the attacking players we have on the pitch and on the bench, all of them will be looking at this defence and wanting to get involved.
Yeah, this is Tuesday night at Stockport, and obviously the young keeper's come out for it. Sort of, you can see they're all blaming each other, finger pointing there. There's no harmony, you know, within that defensive unit. They make a mistake, they concede goals. This one here, ball goes into the box, the young keeper comes for it, doesn't collect it. He's been dropped for today, so they've got a young lad on loan, I think he's from Huddersfield, who's come in, who starts today in goal. We don't know what he's like, but if Joe will tell you, new goalkeeper comes in, wet conditions, youngster, pepper the goal, you know, crosses, get everyone under the crossbar, get like whip corners in right under the crossbar, put him under pressure. He's a young lad, he's not played many games. Let's test him out. But the goals they are conceding, they're just basic, simple goals, you know. People are not marking in the box, defenders are not getting up against the forwards, just letting them have free headers, like the ball comes in there, getting free shots.
Do you think it is a case of making a fast start, putting the pressure on them and really asking some questions of that defence?
Yeah, definitely, you know, like Glenn said, you know, it's a new keeper come in, they've one had a nightmare on Tuesday night, they've got a new one in today, and you know, you have to test him out, you have to put him under pressure early, you know, play front foot, aggressive football, you know, set pieces, you want to put them right on him, and you want to test them out defensively, because they're a team that are really vulnerable, defensive frailties all over the place, and yeah, you know, you want to try and expose that early doors and put them under some real pressure.
And the O's will be wanting to score some goals. We thought on Tuesday night in the first half, we got 2 in the first half, we were looking so dominant. We haven't really put a team to the sword yet. Do you think that'll be in the back of Richie's mind, wanting to really kind of let loose on a team?
Of course you want to do that every game, so you can relax a little bit, you go 4-5-0 up, you can get other players on, rest players. Of course you want to do that. Unfortunately, we've not been in that situation with injuries, sickness in the camp. We've had to grind it out, and fair play to the team and fair play to the players, because they have been doing that. It's not easy to do, you know, it really isn't easy. They've done it. It's a real together squad. If we get an early goal today, I know Kiss of Death Wilkie predicts, I can see us scoring 3 or 4. I really can. If we get a goal in that first 10-15 minutes, I think Crawley's heads are dropped, we'll go on and we'll really put them to the sword.
Well, a goal fest would be delightful, that's for sure, and it would also continue the O's fine form of late, and that form will hopefully continue over the next couple of games as well. And it's 2 Saturday fixtures, starting off with next Saturday when the O's are on the road and they travel to Grimsby Town, and then the following Saturday is another home game here at Brisbane Road against Swindon Town, and that one is an all-ticket fixture, so make sure you head over to the website that is on screen now to pick up your tickets to get down to E10, get behind the boys and try and see something special happening here in E10. But let's take a look now how the O's are going to be lining up here one more time. In goal for Leyton Orient, of course, is number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux. We have our back four of number 2, Tom James, number 19, Omar Beckles, number 43, Ed Turns, and number 24, Jaden Sweeney. We've got our 2 midfield generals in number 8, Craig Clare, number 15, Idris El Mazouni. We've got our attacking 3 behind the striker, number 11, Theo Archibald, number 34, Kieran Sadlier, and number 10, Ruel Sotiriou. And leading the line, hoping to get a goal or 2 for himself today, is number 16, Aaron Drynan. And on the bench for the O's is Reece Byrne, Shadrach Oji, Adam Thompson, George Moncur, Darren Pratley, Charlie Kelman, and Paul Smith. So let's go back to looking at them goals and Kieran Sadlier, because as we've said, we're missing Paul Smith. Moncur's on the bench as well. They're potentially 2 of the best players in the league. But Kieran's starting to show what he can add to this team, and hopefully we'll see him get in with a couple of goals soon.
Yeah, he's a real silky sort of player. You know, he's got a lovely balance to him. You know, the way he dribbles and the way he moves. Really intelligent player. You know, plays on this left-hand side, but obviously right-footed. So he likes to roll inside. He likes to link up and combine. And I think now he's really started to settle in and show his quality. I think he's building up a really good connection as well with Jaden Sweeney down his side. And now we're starting to see sort of goals, assists, and I feel like he's really starting to put his mark on this team.
And the atmosphere is starting to build here as well, Glenn. And we know what we're like here. We like putting on a show. There are players out there that seem to thrive off of it, and there seems to be a good buzz about the place today, and that will really help the boys.
Definitely, come running out to a full house today. Really sort of gives you a really good lift before kick-off, and if you start fast, and Joe said it earlier, use a really good word, and it's the key word for me with any football teams going out to start a game: be aggressive, be on the front foot, but be aggressive. When you're out of possession, you go there, controlled aggression, don't get sent off, don't do anything stupid, you be aggressive and you get up against your opposite number and you start winning the ball. He knows he's in for a game and he'll be checking his shoulder all the time. You get him out of the game straight away, won't you? Win the ball and you give the ball to our better players, our offensive players like Sadlier, like Ruel, like Theo. Give them players the ball early, let them go and weave their magic, and we'll go and win this game.
Well, Glenn's confident. Joe, he's expecting a few goals. Are you as confident?
Yeah, I am. I think, like you said, when there's a big crowd here today, I feel like there's an expectancy. We're in good form. The boys have built on some good results and performances in recent weeks, and I can feel a win coming. And hopefully, like we've been asking for a while now, maybe a few goals as well would be nice. I can see 3 or 4.
Well, hopefully Joe and Glenn's confidence translates onto the pitch and feeds into the ground as well. But the players are ready and waiting in the tunnel. Hopefully another big performance and another 3 points coming our way very shortly. But now it's time to hand over to our match commentary team of Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
Good afternoon and welcome to Brisbane Road, where it's overcast and there's just been a bit of drizzle as the 2 sides come out onto the field. On Tuesday night, Leyton Orient beat bottom of the table Rochdale. Tonight it is another struggling side, Crawley. Leyton Orient with the best home record in the division. Crawley have the worst, but they've got an excellent form. They've won their last 3 visits to E10. So, Matt Hiscock, you can't take anything for granted.
No, you can't, but you still expect Orient to come through this and collect the 3 points. You're absolutely right. Crawley have been a bit of a bogey side for the O's since they have come into the Football League. But you look at the 11 from the Orient versus 11 from Crawley. The fact that Crawley haven't won away all season, you've got to back the O's.
You've got to go back to April of last year when Crawley won at Newport. Before that,